Hey everyone, if you're diving into Shadowverse Worlds Beyond and feeling a little overwhelmed by all the different classes, don't worry, we've got your back. Each class, or leader, as the game calls them, has their own unique set of cards and playstyles, and choosing the right one can really make or break your experience. In this video, we're breaking down the classes in a full tier list so you'll know exactly which ones are dominating the meta and which ones might be better left on the bench. Now, just to keep it fair, we built this list assuming you have access to all the cards and can build any kind of deck you want. Of course, since Shadowverse has that gacha twist, your actual card pool might make things a bit trickier. But don't worry, even if you're missing a few pieces, this tier list will give you a solid idea of what's strong and why. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's find out which leaders are truly top tier. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking classes in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Abysscraft and Swordcraft. Oh man, you ever pick a class and feel like you're ordering diet soda at an all-you-can-eat buffet? That's exactly what playing Swordcraft feels like in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. It's not bad, it's just not satisfying. You do summon minions, fairly often even, but unlike Forestcraft, you're not flooding the board like some wild nature party. Swordcraft's thing is buffing those minions once they're siege out, which sounds cool, and it can be cool, until your opponent shrugs, wipes your whole board with one well-timed card, and suddenly you're sitting there like a dad who brought a Nerf gun to a laser tag fight. What makes it worse is that Swordcraft has basically one playstyle. You summon, you buff, you pray. There's no spicy alternative strategy to throw your opponent off. Once people figure out what you're doing, and they will because it's obvious, they'll just tech against it and you're done. It's like trying to surprise someone with the same birthday gift 3 years in a row. At some point, it stops being effective and starts being sad. Now let's talk about Abysscraft. Oh boy, if we gave out awards for dramatic flair, Abysscraft would win hands down. These cards are dripping with edgy vibes, like they just stepped off the set of a dark anime, and the idea behind them is actually kinda metal. Sacrifice your own health and cards to unleash powerful effects. You hurt yourself to hurt the enemy harder. Very rock and roll. The problem, it's also very early retirement if you're not careful. You spend all game paying in blood and tears, and by the time you finally slap down something huge, your health is at 2 and your deck's looking emptier than your fridge at the end of the month. Your opponent just needs to sneeze in your direction, and boom, game over. Abysscraft wants to be a risky, high-reward class, but it often ends up just being risky, full stop. So yeah, both Swordcraft and Abysscraft have style. They look like they should be tearing up the ladder, but when the match starts and the pressure's on, they crumble faster than a cookie under a boot. Cool concepts, but in reality, these classes are sitting pretty in the C tier, and honestly, they should just be happy they're not lower. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Forestcraft and Havencraft. You ever play a class that feels like it's slow cooking a victory? That's Havencraft in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. It's the crock pot of classes. You don't hit hard, and honestly, in the first few turns your opponent probably thinks you're just napping, but little do they know, you're setting up, slowly, quietly, like a cat about to knock over a glass. Havencraft is all about keeping your health and summons up, surviving the early game with heals and shields, and then outmuscling your opponent later when they've run out of steam. That being said, you do have to enjoy this kind of play. If you're the type of player who gets impatient when your big plays take more than 5 turns to show up, Havencraft might drive you up the wall. But if you find satisfaction in slowly gaining momentum and turning the tide with a well-timed beefy summon or two, it's actually really fun. The class rewards patience and punishes recklessness. It's like chess, if your opponent was playing dodgeball. On the opposite side of the pacing spectrum, we've got Forestcraft, which basically says, screw it, throw everything on the board. This deck is absolute chaos. You summon again. You lose some units, no worries, you summon 5 more. Forestcraft doesn't care if each individual card is weak, its strength is in numbers. It's like getting overwhelmed by a swarm of squirrels. Each one is tiny, but together, terrifying. Now don't get it twisted, just because Forestcraft plays fast and loose doesn't mean it's brainless. It actually takes a bit of finesse to know when to swarm, how to combo, and which squirrels, okay, not literally squirrels, but you get me, are worth throwing down. Play it right, and your opponent will feel like they're drowning in a tidal wave of tiny minions that just keep popping up no matter what they do. Forestcraft also thrives on momentum. You get into this rhythm of playing and recycling cards so quickly that it can feel like your turn never ends. But if you lose control or your board gets wiped at the wrong moment, oof, you might end up top decking weak cards while your opponent powers up for the kill shot. So yeah, quantity is great, but if you can't convert that into a finish, you're just flooding the field for nothing. Both Havencraft and Forestcraft sit comfortably in the B tier for a reason. They have solid strengths and clear weaknesses. Havencraft rewards the patient defunners who likes a comeback story, while Forestcraft suits the aggressive, chaotic Swarm Master. They may not be flashy top tier picks, but in the right hands, these decks can definitely cause some real trouble. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Dragoncraft and Runecraft. Ever feel like summoning minions is just too basic for you? Like, why bother calling creatures when you can just magic missile your opponent into oblivion? That's the weird vibe Runecraft brings to Shadowverse. Worlds Beyond, this class is all about spell slinging, and not just do a little damage spells. We're talking some of the strongest spells in the game. It's like Runecraft looked at the rest of the classes and said, "Nice board, shame if someone vaporized it." What makes Runecraft shine is how flexible its spells are. Some are direct damage, some help with recovery, and others like Dimensional Climb are straight up game changers. Imagine you're losing badly. Your board's wiped, your HP's low, then boom, you play Dimensional Climb, and suddenly it's like you hit the reset button on life. It's not always easy to master since it relies a lot on timing and knowing your deck, but once you get it, pure magic, literally. Then there's Dragoncraft, and this class is all about power, raw, untamed, beautiful power. If you hate being limited by play points and want to do big things fast, this is your playground. Dragoncraft constantly ramps up your play points while dropping dragons, spells, and beefy creatures that look like they just came from a boss fight. Every card you play feels like a mic drop. There's something satisfying about how straightforward Dragoncraft can be. You want to smash? You can smash. You want to build up resources and unleash a giant combo? You can do that too. It feels like you're just one turn away from doing something explosive at all times. The best part is that pressure starts to mess with your opponent. They know something big is coming, but they don't know when. That's the Dragoncraft tension, and it's delicious. Of course, there's a small catch. If you don't get your ramp early, things can go sideways fast. Dragoncraft needs to gain that momentum or else you'll be stuck playing catch up. And let's be honest, that's not what dragons were made for. Dragons don't chase, they're chased. So it takes a little luck, a little planning, and a lot of attitude to play this class well. So yeah, both Runecraft and Dragoncraft sit pretty in the A tier for good reason. One rains spells from the heavens, the other brings down fire and fury with ramped up summons. They're powerful, satisfying, and just complicated enough to keep things spicy. Not quite broken, but definitely not basic. The classes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Portalcraft. You ever face a Portalcraft deck and feel like you're playing checkers while they're out here playing 5D interdimensional chess? That's Portalcraft in Shadowverse, Worlds Beyond. It's easily one of the most versatile classes in the game, and when we say versatile, we mean how is this person still alive and winning after I wiped their board twice and burned half their deck? Kind of versatile. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, Portalcraft always seems to have something up its sleeve. What makes it really dangerous is how unpredictable it can be. This class doesn't just lean on one strategy, it's got a whole buffet of tricks, combos, and recoveries that can make even a losing position feel winnable. 1 second you're dominating, the next you're staring down a fully rebuilt board and wondering where it all went wrong. And if the player actually knows their cards well, oh boy, that's when Portalcraft becomes borderline illegal, and we haven't even mentioned the Puppeteer cards yet. These things are disgustingly strong. They control the board, deal damage, stall, and in some cases, basically say, you don't get to play this turn, sorry. It's like every Puppeteer card comes with a little bit of black magic baked in. Combine that with Portalcraft's endless flexibility, and you've got a class that's not just powerful, it's terrifyingly consistent. S tier, no question. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.